Hey, welcome back, friends, to the Bald Booktuber. My name is Scott, and today we're going to talk about 10 science fiction series that I plan to read maybe soon. So these are going to be ordered from the one that I will read the furthest out, most likely, down to the one that I for sure will be reading this year. For sure. We'll see how it goes. So I already did a similar type of video where I talked about historical fiction series. You can check that out on the channel if you want to. This one's going to be centered around science fiction. Both genres that I don't read nearly as much as I want or need to. Fantasy sort of dominates. So looking to expand the literary diet at least a little bit. Still mostly speculative, but that's all right. So let's get rolling here. We're going to start with the Culture series by Ian M. Banks. And this is a 9-book series. It starts with the first novel, Consider Phlebas. It is read by Peter Kinney, the narrator, who's done some other work. I believe he did The Witcher and some other stuff. I think he's pretty good. This is a fictional utopian society. It would probably be bigger on my list, further up. But unfortunately, it's a little tough to track down Kindle and Audible versions of these books. I think because he was published in the UK, and I think has something to do with book contracts and these kinds of things. So we'll see how that goes. But I like to have the Kindle and the Audible version, and I can't seem to track it down for every single one of the books yet. So once I do, I will probably jump into that. All right, number 9. This is called the Wayfarers series, and this is by Becky Chambers. So this, as I understand it, centers around a crew on a spaceship, and I believe the main protagonist is a young woman who has joined this crew. It's supposed to be pretty funny. It's supposed to be a fun ride, so we'll give it a shot. It's 4 books, so not a lot of investment. The narrator is Rachel Dulude, who I have no experience with. I don't know anything about her. We'll try that up. If you've read Wayfarers, let me know. Let me know if it's good or not. Moving on, the next one is the Ancillary World. This is by Ann Leckie. This is 3 books. And as I understand it, Ancillary Justice, the first book, is the only book ever to win the Nebula, the Hugo, and the Arthur C. Clarke Award. So very big praise for that first book. And I know this one, it's a first-person narration, and it's not a person, as I understand it. The main character and the protagonist is an artificial intelligence, which might be interesting. We'll see if that resonates better than the Murderbot series did with me. So hopefully that will be good. The narrator is Adjoa Ando. Again, I don't know anything about her. I think it's a her. All right, we're moving on to the next one. This is called The Machineries of Empire. This is by Yoon Ha Lee. This is 3 books. The first book is The Nine Fox Gambit. It is read by Emily Zhu Weller, who I do have some experience with and didn't love her narration with the Poppy War, but maybe she'll grow on me. I believe she's the one that did Poppy War. This is about a society where math is at the center of all the decisions and all the control over people. So I'm interested to see how that's going to look and how that's going to work out. I think that sounds pretty cool. So yeah, that was one that caught my eye, and one that I haven't heard anybody else talk about. So I'm interested and anxious to see what that's all about. All right, the next one is an upcoming Netflix series, which probably should move it further on my list, but we'll see. This is The Remembrance of Earth's Past. This is by, and I won't pronounce this correctly, but it's Shichin Lu, I think. It's 4 books, as I understand. The first of which is The Three-Body Problem. Read by Luke Daniels, who I've heard is quite good. I haven't listened to any of his narrations. And this is set, I believe, in a far future China, where a secret military project is sending signals to alien species. So that sounds super cool. I'm interested to see what that dynamic looks like. I know that the adaptation is being done by D&D, the guys that gave us several good seasons of Game of Thrones and some not so good seasons at the end. So we'll see what they do with a fully complete novelization to TV adaptation. Hopefully it'll be good. And hopefully I enjoy the books. All right, we're about halfway there. The next one is called The Zones of Thought. This is by Werner Vinge. This is 3 books, and they are beefy books. I believe they're quite big in page count, word count. The first one is called A Fire Upon the Deep. It's read by Peter Larkin, who's a guy that I know nothing about. I haven't heard him narrate anything. But let me just read the synopsis on this one. A tale of human scientists inadvertently releasing an ancient blight on the universe, and the blight racing an expedition to find what mystery has escaped their control, a secret that can make the blight even more powerful. That sounds cool. So that is one that I definitely have wanted to get to for a while. Yeah, pretty high on the list. So we'll see when I get to it. All right. Down to our final 4 here. And these are ones that are probably going to happen in the next year or two. I need to make room for them because I tend not to make enough room for sci-fi because fantasy dominates, like I said. But as of right now, I couldn't even give you a top 10 sci-fi series, and that's embarrassing, and I need to be able to do that. So got to get through some of these. So the next one is The Book of the New Sun. This is Gene Wolfe. This is Christopher Rocchio's favorite author. He always tells us he wants to be like Gene Wolfe when he grows up. So Wolfe and Tolkien are kind of his guys. And Book of the New Sun, from what I understand, is probably the most difficult reading experience this side of Malazan, which is not an easy read. So that one I've done, at least the main 10. This I did sort of start. I read the first chapter last year and decided that maybe my mental capacity wasn't up to the challenge. So I'll try again, but yeah, it's the type of book where there are books written and podcasts and everything else to get people to understand what was written in the book. So we'll see if I am able to grasp what is going on or not. It is 5 books long, but they're bound into 3 books. 4 original books, they bound them into sets of 2 books, and then there is another book that is sort of a coda, it's called. It's called Earth, but it's spelled U-R-T-H. And I believe it's supposed to be pretty weird even by the standards of the series. So we'll see how that goes. I know the narration is done by Jonathan Davis, who is one of my favorite narrators. He does a lot of Star Wars stuff and is very, very good. So hopefully he can get me through it. But yeah, it's one I keep kicking down the road, and I won't be able to kick it down much longer, I don't think. I need to be able to get into this and get it done. All right, next up on the list is Revelation Space. This is Alastair Reynolds, who's a very interesting guy. He was an astrophysicist turned novelist, so a very smart guy, knows his science, obviously. It's 7 books long, but I believe they're in sub-series and these kinds of things, and then there's a couple of books that are like short stories and novellas as well. So I believe the main series is only 3 or 4 books, and I'll probably start with that. The narrator is John Lee, who is great, so I'm looking forward to that. My friend Jordan over on iWizard loves this series, and he made me promise that I would try it for him. I know Moyd over at Media Death Cult did a huge read-along for this last year, and I had planned to join, and I didn't, so I guess I'm on my own. hopefully I will enjoy it. I do have it relatively high in the list here, obviously. We'll see how it goes. All right, next up, I have a few friends that have read this duology and have really enjoyed it. I know Brent liked it quite a bit, had some issues with it, but overall, I think he was pretty positive on it. I know a few others that seem to like it. And that's the Children of Time duology. That's Adrian Tchaikovsky, who might be the most prodigious author in terms of just pumping out material over material. The dude has written so many books. Makes it seem like he's one of the few people that could keep up with Brandon Sanderson in terms of that, but he just keeps writing. So this is 2 books. I'm assuming it's a completed duology. I don't know if there's more books along the way, but we'll find out. Children of Time is book 1, Children of Ruin is book 2. They're both narrated by Mel Hudson, who I have no experience with. Hopefully she's great. And my understanding is that the story revolves around human survivors who have relocated to another planet to ensure the survival of the species. I hear things like there are evolved spiders in the story, which I don't love spiders, but I don't know if they're the good guys or the bad guys. Probably the bad guys. So yeah, we'll give that a shot. It's only 2 books. Even if they are big books, not much of an investment. And then finally, the series that I am most looking forward to in science fiction, and this is the, I'm going to mispronounce it, but I believe it's the Tech Salon, something like that. The author is Arcady Martine. She's written 2 books so far. I believe it's going to continue with more books, but I don't know for sure. So let me know in the comments if you do happen to know the answer to that. The first book is called A Memory Called Empire. The second book is A Desolation Called Peace, and I love both those titles. I've got some friends that have read them recently that seem to be enjoying them, so we'll see how it goes. I know friends Shake and Dylan both seem to enjoy them, so I don't know. We'll see if I end up liking it. Amy London is the narrator. Again, know nothing about her narration, so if and when I go through these, I'll be getting a lot of new narrators under my belt, which is probably good. And this is political sci-fi, as I understand it. I think the first story, it's a new ambassador to a world or galaxy, I don't know which, and she discovers that the previous ambassador had been murdered, and there's apparently a mystery plot around this and these kinds of things, so I have no idea. I just like the titles, and political sci-fi sounds cool to me. So those are the ones that for right now I am most interested in checking out. Please hit me up in the comments and let me know if you've read any of these. What did you think of them? If there are other things that you think I should also be checking out, please let me know. The TBR is ever expanding, and I'll never be able to read everything I want to anyway, so you might as well overwhelm me with more recommendations. That sounds good. But otherwise, thanks for hanging out for a little bit with me, and enjoy your weekend, and thanks so much.